Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today with a TBR video at the start of the month. Incredible, amazing. Who is she? We don't know. Before we dive in, I want to say a big thank you to the sponsor for today's video, which is Scentbird, but more on them in just a moment. I'm actually already so excited about this video because my mic is potentially working again, question mark, exclamation point, which is good because the people that were supposed to help me with the issue never contacted me back after a million emails. So I tried it today out of nowhere and it looks like it's connecting. I don't know for how long that will be, but I have two sources of audio right now just in case it gives out on me in the middle of the video. I figured that would be the safe bet. I'm also really excited for this video because I feel like for the first time in ages, I'm in such a good reading mood, but like a normal reading mood. Like, I want to physically read books again, and I look at books on my shelves and feel inspired to pick them up. I know, this sounds like something that should always be present in a booktuber's mind, but it's not. I had a really good experience with the last two books that I read last month, and it's really set me up for success. I mean, maybe a little too successful. I have, I think, 10 books on my TBR right now. This is an extremely ambitious TBR for someone that feels like they're out of their reading slump. So this is more of like a, I saw all of these and I got really excited, so I'm saying I want to read all of them, but realistically, I likely will not be able to read all of them because I don't have that much time. This is going to be a great stack to choose from during the month while I hopefully finish some books. Oh, my lighting is going away. So while I mess around with my lighting, I do want to talk a little bit more about the sponsor for today's video, which is, again, Scentbird. Let's do that. So Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service that gives you the opportunity to try out new fragrances in travel size little bottles so that you don't spend a ton of money on a full-size bottle before knowing if it even is to your liking. They have over 600 brands on their site, and every single month you get to pick from those 600 fragrances and get one shipped to your house for just $16. But these fragrances that you try out are actually 8 times bigger than the regular sample sizes, meaning that you're actually getting like a 30-day supply in each of the bottles so that you can really get your full experience for the whole month of trying it out. And you can also upgrade your subscription any month that you would like to, so that you can get 2 or even 3 perfumes sent to you. They're also incredibly flexible, meaning that any month that you don't want to get a new fragrance sent over to you, you can actually skip that month without any penalties. And if you're anything like me, you probably have wanted to try out some of the like top designer, very fancy perfumes yourself, something like maybe Prada or Gucci, but really don't have maybe Prada or Gucci money. And Scentbird does have quite a few options from a lot of designer brands on their site for you to pick out and get to try out yourself, as well as some in-house brands such as like Confessions of a Rebel or Vince Camuto and The Harmonist. So there's no doubt in the fact that you'll likely be able to find something you like, whether it is designer or in-house or new to you, or something you've already smelled and want to try out. Plus, their catalog is constantly growing, so if you don't see the scent that you love currently, maybe in the future they will have it. And they even have a quiz on their site for you to take if you need some help narrowing down the potential options, since there are quite a few to choose from. And they ask really fun questions to kind of get a better idea of the kind of person you are, what you would want to use this perfume for, and the scents that you already like. And I think it's a really well done quiz. I'm not very knowledgeable as far as like scents go, and I feel like I've learned a little even from taking this quiz multiple times myself, just to kind of get more ideas of the things that I might like. Now, for the ones that I got myself, I actually got myself 2. They come in these cute little sleeves, but the first one is actually this one, which I love the bottle that they chose for it, and it's Red Panda. Let me tell you the note card. Like I said, I'm not versed on scents, so let me just read it off for you. But it's from the brand Sanctuary, and its key notes are going to be bamboo accord, black currant berries, jasmine petals, creamy sandalwood, and vanilla orchid. My sense of smell is slowly coming back, but for right now, I just really smell like a very soft vanilla scent. It's really, really pleasant, and I actually was very intrigued by this brand because they have a few perfumes on their website, and they all are actually going to the animals that they're talking about. So Red Panda actually gives a % of their proceeds to the Red Panda Network, which I thought was really cool because they are dwindling due to deforestation, poachers, and climate change. And this network is committed to the conservation of wild red pandas and their habitat. So I thought that was really nice, just a good touch. Plus, it smells so nice. Now, the other scent that I actually chose out for myself is one that I've liked for quite a while, and I was really excited to see it on their site. And that's gonna be Versace Eros. The full bottle is just so fancy looking, but I like the green one they gave me too. And this, another pretty soft scent, but the keynotes are going to be green apple, vanilla, mint, tonka bean, and lemon. So even though it's sweet, it also has like a pretty like sharp cut to it. Now this one is supposed to exude vivid masculine energy. I mean, I think it smells really nice on me. I haven't heard anyone say otherwise, so obviously, it's just a phrasing, I guess. But it smells so pleasant. Again, the vanilla is one of the main things that stands out to me, but it is because my sense of smell is just weak. I'm hoping it comes back in full force soon. Now, besides the 2 fragrances I chose for myself, Scentbird actually was kind enough to send me another few fragrances, but the other one is a Confessions of a Rebel one, which if you saw my Confessions of a Rebel video, it's one of the same from those, so. The other 2 that I got sent was this one, which is Warrior by Rachel Zoe, and the keynotes are mandarin, magnolia, tuberose, patchouli, and cocoa. This one's really soft. I can kind of start to smell the mandarin mixed with the vanilla, but the patchouli really cuts through for me. For whatever reason. I'm not the biggest fan of patchouli, but I've recently learned that my mom is, so I might have to let her try that one out for herself and see if she wants to give it a go. And the other one that they sent me, which I was really excited about, came in this really pretty gold bottle, which, if you didn't know, you can actually take out the fragrances inside and like put them back in and reuse the bottles. But the other one they sent me was another Sanctuary perfume, and this one is Vaquita Dolphin. And the scents are going to be juicy pear, red currant berries, water lily, sea salt accord, and cedarwood. This one is very fresh and like juicy, I guess is the best way I can describe it. It's also still really sweet though. But like I said, my nose is still mildly broken. I like this a lot. This is another one that I'd been thinking about getting when I was trying to pick out my own fragrances, so I'm really hyped that they actually gave this one to me as well. So a % of all proceeds from this fragrance will support Save the Whales' effort to raise awareness about the critically endangered vaquita and further our shared mission to preserve and protect the ocean and its inhabitants, which I think is, again, so nice. I love a fragrance with a cause. I've been really obsessed with perfumes, even though my nose doesn't work as well anymore. I love smelling nice. I love trying out new scents. I love seeing what works with my own body chemistry, and I really love the fact that with Scentbird, you get to just try out the scent in a smaller form versus spending a lot of money on something that maybe isn't actually going to mix with your chemistry as well as you thought. And obviously the season is changing, so my scents I feel like should change as well with it. Something maybe a little bit heavier, a little bit sweeter for fall versus like the light and airy and sometimes like juiciness of spring and summer. If you are also mildly obsessed with fragrance, then I highly suggest checking out Scentbird. I will leave it all linked down below. Again, typically it's $16 a month to subscribe to this fragrance service, but they've actually given me a code for you guys to use, and when you use my code, it'll actually give you 30% off of your first Scentbird order, and that actually brings down the total to, I believe, $11. And also some pretty good news for any Canadians out there that have wanted to try out Scentbird in the past. They've actually expanded their delivery range to Canada this last September, so if you want to give it a go, definitely check it out. I'll leave it all linked down in the description box below. And again, if you use my code, 30% off your first order. So thank you so much to Scentbird for supporting my channel and making me smell nice, because even though I can't smell me, I'm sure other people can, and I'm sure they appreciate that I smell good. And thank you to you guys, because again, if I didn't have your support, I would never get really cool opportunities like this, and I wouldn't smell as good. Well, okay, hopefully I would smell as good, but this is better. I've actually been obsessed with the Red Panda one. I couldn't find it because I have been using it. Wow. I swear I've sprayed this so many times and it's still so full. I don't know if you can tell. I love this little case too. I feel like I'm gonna use this orange one a lot once I run out. I love it. I love it so much. And back to the video. So like I said, there's 10 books to talk about. Some of them are honorable mentions, more like I'm 90% sure I won't get to them this month, but I'm also still really excited about them and potentially could pick them up, so I might as well mention them in this video. So let's start with the like official books that I really do feel like I want to get to. This is a good sized book. This isn't exerting myself in any way, really. It's Come Tumbling Down by Shauna Maguire. This has been on my TBR for a few TBRs already. I don't know, now that I'm kind of really in the mood to physically read things again, I feel like this is going to be such a fun, quick read, satisfying in that way. And the best part about this is actually that it's kind of following Jack and Jill's story from the first and second books, and I actually just talked about the second book in the Wayward Children series in my Books You Should Read on Halloween video, which I'll link up above if you haven't seen. And this is obviously the follow-up to what happens in the events of the first book, and I think that that's just, it's serendipity. I'm not going to say much on it because, again, this is, I think, the 5th installment in the whole series, and even though each of the books kind of can stand alone in their own ways, this one is the first pretty real sequel to events happening in previous books, so I won't really describe that. But the Wayward Children series just has to do with children who went to a portal reality and they made it back to the real world and don't really know how to adjust, and Eleanor opened up a house for them and they all kind of go there to actually miss the places they came from and hope that eventually a door will open back up to lead them back there. It's great. It's great. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I mean, I must have a lot of belief in myself. I think that this is more of a book that I would like to start and just take slowly. Glacier pace, seriously. And that's Dune by Frank Herbert. I feel probably like a million other people in the world that are now like, wow, this is based off of a book and I should go read it. But the difference there is that I always knew it was based off of a book and I'd always planned to actually read it before the movie, but I didn't. So I am just like all other girls. Definitely not like other girls. I watched the movie in theaters, which was so much fun because, you know, it's nice to have theaters again. But I saw it with my boyfriend and a couple of our friends and I loved it. It was so different. It was... I'm not even going to try to describe that because this isn't really a movie review, but this is actually the inspiration behind probably a ton of things, but the big one being Star Wars, and I feel like I could really see those elements that were not so well disguised in Star Wars if they came from Dune, and I just would love to read the book and kind of get more out of it, see more of it. I loved the way that they did the movie, and it felt like it watched like a book, if that makes sense. You know how some people say that when they read a book, it reads like a movie? Okay, when I saw that movie, it watched... It viewed, I absorbed it like a book. It's very introspective. You think a lot during the movie, in my opinion. It doesn't give you a lot of things. It's so much more showing versus telling. The script must be so small, I'm just saying. And I feel like it made me really interested in how the book was laid out. That was a really long explanation to say that I want to start this and just hope that my out of practice mind can absorb it. Also, that edition is so stunning. I was given that as a gift from one of you guys such a long time ago, and it's been staring at me, and I've felt so guilty about not reading it, so now to get that urge to really pick it up, it's prime. On the opposite end of the spectrum, in my opinion at least, as far as difficulty or pretentiousness, maybe, Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I finally got my cool editions. I got these from Fairy Loot months and months and months ago, and they finally came in the mail. I've already filmed that unboxing, and I meant to actually post it before October was done, but it's... I don't know why I haven't, because the editing's basically done for it, so expect like 2 unboxing videos back to back, because I just want to get those posted so I can unbox the newest boxes. But I unboxed that in that, and these are those editions. I feel like that was confusing to say. But this is the 3rd book in the... I'm sure there's a different like phrase for it, but From Blood and Ash series. Romance, fantasy. That's really all I have to say about it, but I am just kind of obsessed with how these really pretty editions look, and I feel like I'd been telling myself that I was only waiting to read the third book until I actually got the editions in my hands. So now I have it. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be physically reading it or doing the audiobook, because I did purchase the audiobook months ago when I thought I couldn't wait any longer. Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. Now I'm in a physical reading mood, so I could just, I guess, return the audiobook if I never listened to it, right? All I really need to know is that it's like pretty smutty fantasy. This is a guilty pleasure read for sure. Second to last book on like my for sure, yes, this is definitely something I would love to pick up this month, TBR. Not my maybe, TBR. Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I actually just got the audiobook for this delivered into like my library cart through Libby, but I don't know if I really want to listen to it audibly anymore now that I actually feel like picking things up and reading. I feel like I'll end up just wanting to physically read this. This is another one that I feel like I want to just take my time with, take it slow, enjoy every minute of it, because The Night Circus is one of my all-time favorite books in general. I love the writing in it. It's so delectable. It's still to this day probably one of the best written books that I have enjoyed. I love Erin Morgenstern's writing, and I've been putting off Starless Sea for way too long now, so I just want to do it. I just want to do it. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. I have a feeling there's a library in it. Yeah. Okay. Very whimsical from what I understand. It's not, I don't know, it's a free-flowing plot, character-driven story. It's not plot-driven, it's character-driven. It's a free-form plot. I am not entirely sure. I really can't tell you. All the book reviews I've seen about this, people are not really describing what it's about, for good reason, because I feel like with Erin Morgenstern's Night Circus, knowing what it's about kind of takes away some of what it's about. You don't really know what it's about until you get to the very end, and I feel like that's what this one will follow as well. So I don't really need to know a lot about it. I just know that Night Circus was amazing, and I'm hoping that I love this one just as much. Alright, and now the last book that's actually on my TBR, but I don't own, so my book buying ban might have to be on hold for just like a split second while I buy this, is Midnight Library by Matt Haig, is it? Yep. And this is actually a book that I always thought I was going to be interested in. From what I understand, it's about someone who is about to end their own life, and they end up in this in-between place in this library filled with stories, and they kind of get to read their own story and see all of the different ways that they could have taken it, like it's alternate realities, and they get to experience them and obviously ponder the whole meaning of how their own life turned out and whether it was in their best interest to end it, I guess. It sounds like it's going to be so heavy and dark, but also lighthearted in some ways. I feel like some of the scenes that this person might live through will just like bring you like the weirdest feelings, bittersweet feelings, sweet and sour feelings. It's gonna be a mix. I can feel it. And one of my coworkers has actually been telling me that I should read it for months now. And I kept telling him like, no, I am on a book buying ban. I can't do it. And then now that I'm in a reading mood again, I kind of looked at him and I was like, I think I'm ready to read Midnight Library. I think I'm ready to read it. I'm not sure. It might be a little weird to have two books kind of set in life story libraries back to back. That's actually kind of reminding me of The Archived by V. Schwab. I really love The Archived, actually. So I'm gonna try to not get my hopes up too high because I don't want to ever be let down, but my hopes are pretty damn high, so there's that. So now for like these are on my list, but as honorable mentions. First and foremost, we have Dark Age by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in his like follow-up series to Red Rising. Oh my goodness, I had a brain fart. But I recently read Iron Gold, loved it, and I actually immediately put the hold on the audiobook. I love these audiobooks. I wish I hadn't ever listened to these audiobooks because it makes me not want to physically read them because the narrators are so fantastic, and it actually popped into my library a couple of days ago, which makes me think that I might start listening to this, but question mark, you know? It's I think like a 32-hour long audiobook. It's insane. It's a big book. But I kind of want to, I really want to read this. I've wanted to read this for so long. It's Jade City by Fonda Lee. It's fantasy. Adult fantasy. I was really intrigued by the cover. I will not lie to you in that way. When I saw this a few years ago on my Twitter feed, when like Fonda Lee had promoted her own book and it showed up on my page and I immediately followed her because I was like, that is the most stunning book I've ever seen. That was the initial crave to read it, and I feel like I've never seen anything bad about this. It's big too though, and it's a little bit intimidating in that way, but I think that this could easily be something I end up picking up this month instead of maybe some of the other books that I was planning. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. That's why these are the maybes. Also on my maybes list, Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff, mostly because I started this so long ago and never finished it, and I feel like it's just been staring at me, and now that I'm reading again physically, as I've said a million times, I hope you're not taking a shot whenever I say that, because you would be plastered right now. Now that I've started physically reading again, it's been staring at me from the shelves. Like, you don't know what you want to read, you might as well read me, and it's not wrong. It's not wrong. I can't just not finish a series, you know? That's wrong. And mostly that's on my maybe list because I actually want to read Empire of the Vampire. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition. It's sexy, let's be honest. And I've seen a lot of good things about this. I think it came out in the perfect time because I saw a ton of people reading this specifically around like Halloween time for spooky season, and I've seen amazing reviews for it, which I'm excited about. I mean, obviously I've really loved the Nevernight series, so I know I am a fan of J. Kristoff's writing. I know it's not for everyone, but definitely for me. And I've just seen such amazing fan art come out of it. It's something that I want to read. And then the last book on my maybes list is Burning God, The Burning God by R.F. Kong. This is the last book in the Poppy War trilogy. This is the arc, actually. I still haven't read it, and I really enjoyed the Poppy War series so far, I guess, and I'm very curious to see how it ends. I mean, it's a fantasy that surrounds like real events in Chinese history and also surrounding Chinese mythology. It's something that I have really enjoyed, and I love the unlikable main character. I love unlikable main characters, especially when they're girls and especially when they're just annoying as hell, because I relate, you know? Those are going to be the books that we talk about today for my November, these are books that I could potentially read this month TBR list. I keep feeling like I'm saying maybe, potentially, probably, it could happen kind of words, and it's because I want to enjoy this reading mood. I am not in a wanting to finish a ton of books mood anymore. I feel like getting out of that mindset is extremely healthy. No one really put me in that weird position of being like, hey, you have to read 1,000,000 books to be a booktuber, but somewhere in the back of my head that was always something that was there, and it was something I used to succeed at really well, but in the past couple of years it's been so hard for me. And I kept putting that pressure on myself, even when I was trying to not, and it wasn't healthy and it wasn't helping. So I'm trying to reformat my brain and tell myself, like, read 1 book a month, only when you want to. You literally have no other obligations. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to have fun with it. I want to enjoy it. I want to be calm with it. And I hope that that's okay with you guys, because yeah, potentially I do read all of these, but there is a possibility I read none of them. Or I could start like 5 of them. We have no idea. I am trying to listen to the little part of my brain that loves to read, because she has been like, I don't know, gagged and put into a corner for way too long. That's gonna be it for this video today, guys. I really don't have much else to say. If you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments. If you don't have any thoughts, don't leave them in the comments. I appreciate that you're still watching, and thank you again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video, and I will leave all of that information in the description bar, like I said. So other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Goodbye!